Hello and welcome to Tech Cubicle on SAP. I'm Daryl Griffiths and this is my weekly 180 where I spend 180 seconds on the latest techie news that impacts the world of SAP. At the end, I'll pick my favourite to review in a little more detail in the cubicle. In my SAP techie news this week, from CIO.com, an article on the demands from the SAP German user group DSAG towards SAP. The article talks about the dissatisfaction of DSAG members with SAP's cloud strategy and AI strategy. As a summary, the 6 highlighted demands are: clarity of cloud value, mature solutions to replace expired products after 2027, parity of features for on-premise S/4HANA, transparent roadmap for AI features, fathomable pricing model for AI, and reference architectures for AI integration in SAP products. I've put a link to the article in the description down below of this video. In Azure this week, the new SSdv2 and Ultra disks now get the ability to be backed up with Azure Backup to Azure Recovery Services vaults that use geo-redundant storage. Plus, they can be restored to a different target region using cross-region restore, or CRR. This means that protection levels for VMs using these disks just got that bit better. Check out the prices of the SSdv2 disks, but also check the prerequisites around backup policies. The link is down below. Google Cloud's West Europe region suffered a zonal interruption this week. Google's own service health page shows an outage of approximately 12 hours and 39 minutes, approximately, and impacting multiple GCP services, including Cloud Compute, or also known as virtual machines. I've put the link to the health page that has a timeline of issues. The full root cause is not mentioned, but power, failure and cooling issue are mentioned in the summary. SAP HANA 2 SPS05 revision 59 maintenance revision 15 has been released. SAP Note 3501358 contains the details, and this maintenance revision contains a number of fixes in the areas of database client, enterprise search, XS engine and plenty of other generic issues that caused index server crashes. The links to the related SAP notes are down below. A brief article on the Law 360 website, the new site for the latest on essential legal insights as they emerge in real time. The article talks about how SAP is facing a trademark infringement claim for the use of the name Joule in its AI tool. Whilst I cannot see the rest of the article as it's subscription only, and I'm no legal expert in need of such a news source, it does provide an interesting question. Will SAP pay up, or will they capitulate and rename the tool? My suggestion is to call it Holly, just like the AI in the UK 90s comedy TV series Red Dwarf.
Well, the thing about a black art, its main distinguishing feature, is it's black. And the thing about space, the colour of space, your basic space colour, is it's black. So you're supposed to see them.
The link is down below. An interesting article on the SAP news site this week discusses how AI literacy plays a part in the attitude at work towards AI. The article provides some statistics on an SAP-owned survey of 4,000 managers and employees globally. Some insights are: nearly 70% of people with high AI literacy expected to see positive outcomes from the use of AI at work, and 55% of people believe that employees who use AI should have better performance reviews than those who don't use AI. Now, I find that last item a little bit open-ended and contentious. The assumption is that employees using AI are performing better, but the article states that this is based on 2 employees that have exactly the same level of performance in the same job. So the employee using AI should not have a better performance review, and if that performance was itself reviewed by an AI, they would still be equal. Or maybe the AI doing the performance review would calculate that the employee not using AI poses less risk to the company, as they are less likely to make a catastrophic mistake, and they can also work offline. Yes, offline, the new profit destroyer for those companies that implement a high volume of AI in their processes. I've put a link to the article down below for your own critique. My favourite item this week is the Google Cloud Zonal outage. It's not that often that we see these outages in the large public cloud providers, but when they do happen, they usually make it onto Reddit or the Register or some such site. In this particular case, between the 23rd of October, 18:30 PM and 24th of October, 7:09 AM US Pacific Time, that's 12 hours and 39 minutes in duration, Google Cloud Zone Europe West 3C in Frankfurt, Germany, was impacted by what Google describes as a power failure and cooling issue, leading to a fraction of a zone being powered down, causing services to be degraded. No comma in there either. Quite a few services were impacted, but the important ones for customers hosting their SAP systems is the Google Compute Engine service. This is effectively the IaaS virtual machine service on which customers would run SAP. Now I have to assume that there is a typo in the description of the incident here, as it says, customers lost access to several VMs and disks in the Europe West 5C zone, but there is no West 5C. It must mean West 3. When I cross-checked on the SAP status pages, I was not able to find an issue that correlated with the GCP Zonal outage. I thought at this point that it might be worth looking at the Google documentation to understand their definition of a zone. The zone in question is Zone C. The Google docs state that a zone is a deployment area within a region, and that compute engine implements a layer of abstraction between zones and the physical clusters where the zones are hosted. It also says, each zone is hosted in one or more clusters. Let's put that into a diagram to see how that looks. Here's one I made earlier. We can see the physical Google data center here, and within the data center are clusters. These are the physical entities that host the logical zones. The physical zones are usually labeled A, B, and C. Within the physical zones exist logical zones that are usually numbered 1 to 3. Company A's logical zone 1 is a different set of clusters to Company B's logical zone 1. This logical separation helps to balance all of the many customers who choose zone 1 as their primary systems. You can also see that logical zone 2 is hosted in completely different physical zones for each of the customers. We can see here that cluster zone C is the zone of death in our Google Cloud zonal outage, and it impacts logical zone 2 for Company B. But there are situations where even though just one zone has gone down, the impact on an SAP landscape could be complete outage of the entire landscape, even if some systems or components are hosted in a different logical zone.
We're offline, sir!
If we just happen to put our IaaS NFS server in logical zone 1, and it just happened to be inside the impacted data center, then this could cause an NFS cluster failover. Let's assume it has high availability. The failover would cause a small delay on production SAP systems that mount their shared file systems from the NFS server. If incorrectly configured, the NFS server may not properly fail over at all. In this scenario, the whole production SAP landscape could be unavailable. In scenarios like this, it is important to deploy critical SAP landscape components with high availability.
1, 2, 3, 4, 12. 7.
Doug, I'd like you to meet 4.
Do not just rely on the hyperscaler's built-in virtual machine availability SLAs. The loss of file system locks in this case will cause problems. Validate the failover of critical SAP landscape components, such as NFS servers. And above all, follow the hyperscaler guides on how to best deploy multi-zonally to ensure that you don't suffer a production outage when just one zone goes offline. As always, referencing to the description down below, drop me a comment, give the video a thumbs up, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel. Thanks very much. Bye-bye. Zone of death in our Google Cloud flipping heck.